moment there. But thanks for joining us here in the Zico broadcast booth here at the St. Francis Tulsa Tough, and thanks again to Quick Trip for putting on our broadcast and bringing Daniel and I out to bring you guys all the action. Thank you guys for tuning in on the YouTube. Be sure to share it out with your friends so that everybody can tune in and see what we do here in Tulsa, Oklahoma for the Super Bowl of Criterium racing here in America. Next up on the schedule will be our pro men's races, and so stick around. We're going to get right into that action in a moment's time.
Gentlemen, you will start on the chief referee's whistle, so we say, riders ready, let's go!
Hold it all the way to the line. He'll come to the finish, and Dario Raps takes it in front of Jordan.
This is he.
Welcome back to the St. Francis Tulsa Tough, day 2 of racing with the FC Tulsa Arts District Criterium. I'm Gabe Lloyd, this is Daniel Holloway, and we are here to kick off our second night of racing. Before we get into it, though, we're going to talk with Luke Fetzer. He is on Team Cadence Cyclery. He has some thoughts on today's race and how it'll play out.
Yeah, most definitely. There's a big downhill coming into the final turn. It's known as America's fastest turn. So I'm my 180-pound body is going to be railing through that a little bit faster than Lucas. I think I got gravity on my side. It's a long sprint as well, so that'll be in my favor. So we'll I wouldn't say I'd be protected as much as Lucas, but the guys will be helping me a little bit more. They'll be doing what I was doing last night for them.
And in this race, historically, we've seen a break go away at certain points, but sometimes it does get brought back. So for you tonight as a finisher, are you going to be opportunistic and looking for a break, or are you going to sit in the Sprinters Lounge for a minute and wait for the race to come to the final?
I think I'm going to be sitting in the Sprinters Lounge. I don't want to blow too many bullets trying to make it in the break. It's a really hard course to stay away between the uphill, downhill, and all this wind. There's not many sections that you could really get away, so I'll be optimistic, and I'll be sitting back with my boy Lucas.
Our weekend of racing last night with the McNally's Group Blue Dome race, and it was a fantastic event for our pro men. We had full gas racing from start to finish last night here we had a little bit of separations occur. Michael Garrison, a big factor in the front, but in the end of the night, we were all back together, and it became down to a very textbook sprint as we saw Dario Raps overcoming Techers with 2 turns to go. Raps makes the early jumps, and our German national champion was able to hold off the rest of the field, including Jordan Parra, and Raps taking an emphatic victory at the McNally's Group Blue Dome finish last night. This is one of Raps' biggest finishes to date. Let's hear from what Dario Raps had to say at the end of last night's race.
Oh, I can't even describe it. I never thought that I'd win such a big race. You guys are awesome. This atmosphere, I never could imagine that. It is so amazing. Oh my God, and I'm so happy.
Dario, you guys came to America with one goal for your campaign, and I think that was to get a win here at Tulsa Tough. Now that you have done that, what remains for you this weekend? Can you do this again at Tulsa this weekend?
I will give my very, very best. You can't believe that. I don't know if I can do it again, but let's see what the next days will bring. And we are so hot for the next races. We can't, just can't wait for it. You guys, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
That was Dario Raps, an emphatic win. He was so happy last night, and for good reason. This is the Super Bowl of grits, and he took the biggest win of his career so far, including what he would say his national championship win. It was awesome to hear. Raps going to be in the leader's jersey tonight, so you will not see the German national champion jersey tonight, as you will be seeing him in that pink top this evening. Our men have been called up per the order of the Omnium standings from last night. One nighter racing down. We are in race number 2, and so Omniums will start to shake out. Our race about to begin here for the FC Tulsa Arts District Criterium event to kick off our second night of racing. We got ourselves the top 10 here. Dario Raps going to be in the pink leader's jersey here this evening. Course conditions here tonight, absolutely ideal for Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been here in the past when it's been over 100 degrees. Tonight it is beautiful. Here we go. These boys are getting the countdown on the mic, and we're going to get ourselves rolling. I'm Gabe Lloyd. This is Daniel Holloway. Welcome to night number 2 at St. Francis Tulsa Tough.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him. He was super aggressive racing yesterday. Here we see Danny Summerhill from Legion right there, missing from yesterday's sprint. Come to find out, he got a broken wheel in the last couple laps, so he's hoping to stay out of trouble. I mean, this is a really good course for him. I think he's won here before. He's learned from the best. He knows how to take that last corner from his time on Texas Roadhouse. So again, it's the guys that have a little bit of inside knowledge going into that final corner could potentially have a leg up to, you know, guys like Ollie Wood, Alex, you know, the Techers team, or even DCC. Obviously, you know, Raps can handle his bike. He ripped last night's final corners, but this, again, fastest corner in American crit racing is just a little different. And if you know the little bit of secrets about it, like Alexis just showed us, you know, you can use that to your advantage. And again, we're looking for just 1%, 0.5% margins. And if at this level somebody's able to carry 1K an hour faster through that final corner, that's the edge these top sprinters need.
Last night, Dario carried so much speed out of that final turn that nobody was able to come around it. Eli on the front there for that program, putting a little bob and weave there at the front. But this is the first lap of our pro men's race here tonight at the FC Tulsa Arts District Criterium. And we are getting ourselves underway here tonight. We're going to get some of our top finishers, hopefully Alexis Magner or Kendall, into the booth here, so don't go away. We've got our top women coming into the booth in a few moments' time, just to get their perspective on what's going on. Looks like at the front of our men's field, got some words being exchanged, and DCC going to take up control at the front, while Golden State Blazers will file in behind and try to get them everything under control. Big fields here at the St. Francis Tulsa Tough, but let's take a look at our course. Daniel, what are we looking at here tonight?
Yeah, beautiful 6-corner course in the Arts District. Up Main Street, up the hill is the Sound Pony crowd that is absolutely rowdy. It's only getting louder as the night goes on, as people have been there since 9 a.m. Hydrating with certain types of liquid, so very, very fun up there. But again, the key feature on this race is not the uphill, is the headwind on the downhill that can cause absolute chaos. Typically, as the sun sets, the day goes on, the wind calms down, so the men don't necessarily have it as big as the women to deal with. But again, if the wind stays up, it stays consistent, it can wreak a little bit of havoc in those final laps. But until the sun really starts to set, it can make the breakaway dynamic play in that thing. You know, one guy, two guys, be very hard to stay away, as you need the downhill as a piece of place to recover. But with a headwind, you know, you got to keep on the pedals, or a break, you know, the gap can just evaporate, because there's going to be guys, you know, launching attacks or using energy to close. So it's going to take 6 guys. I mean, the breakaway wasn't that big, but they had absolutely monsters last year. I think that was a little special. The field was playing a little more games than typical. But again, it's going to take, you know, the right combo breakaway to make it happen.
So right now, our field still all together. We're just 3 minutes into racing, 2 laps in. Brody McDonald on the front of the field at this a few moments ago. Kingdom Elite also here. They've got Brian Gomez available to race with us. Gomez, a very strong rider. This is Maximilian Schmidbauer. This is his first year not in the World Tour. He was one of Matthew Van Der Poel's key domestiques in the World Tour for the past few years. And he's now racing solo program with us, which is awesome to see. And he's got DCC right behind him. So our European riders getting to the front, including, looks like Bostock from behind. Hard to see. I don't see that number quite yet. Oh, there we go. Let's take a look at last year's finish, if we will, because last year what happened here on the right side of the screen, this is last year's race. We had Garrison, Cowan, and Augustine all together, and then all of a sudden Augustine just lifted, and Cowan tried to respond. Garrison intentionally gapped the wheel, forcing Cowan to chase, and it ultimately led to Maurice Augustine taking the win here for DCC.
Yeah, very bizarre tactics happening last year. Garrison missed the move, bridged the move, went back, got back in it, and then all of a sudden just playing games. You know, it's he is the absolute wild card. I was, again, with coffee with the Legion riders this morning, and they were talking about, yeah, just absolutely insane. Speed week, he rode the last 10 minutes of Spartanburg solo, and I was told that he rode 490 for 10 minutes solo. I mean, that is just absolutely insane, you know, to just have that in your back pocket at any time. And yeah, he's an absolute wild card. He's racing by himself, so you just don't know what he's going to do or why he's going to do it or when he's going to do it. So it wreaks havoc to programs when you try to lay a plan, set up for a lead out, set up for a breakaway, think that you have a breakaway established and everybody's there except for Michael Garrison, and he just full sends and, you know, completely resets the race in a way that you're just not expecting.
So DCC on the front right now as we are seeing them take control. Now, they did this last night, did they not?
Yeah, and again, it lulled everybody into a false comfort of, oh, we have this, you know, really strong team that's going to set tempo, a la Legion of past. But again, it's only just 2 riders, whereas Legion would put the whole team up there, you know, which is a different thing. And the Legion tempo was quite high comparatively to what DCC is doing.
All right, so this is the second night of racing here for the St. Francis Tulsa Tough. We've got a few guests here in our booth. We may get them on the air for you all here. Some of our celebrities who are coming in, but we got a lot of characters here at the Super Bowl of Criterium Racing here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so we will keep you guys posted. Meanwhile, the race is still all together. DCC doing a lot of that pace setting early on, and we're just going to keep an eye on how that race is playing out.
They won't let the riders know. $200 cash free to take the riders.
And so here we go. We have in the booth here, in our Zico broadcast booth, we have none other than Malcolm McCollum hanging out with us here tonight. Malcolm, welcome to the party, my man. How you feeling right now?
A little tired, but things are going well today, so, you know, great day in downtown Tulsa.
It sure is. No thanks to you, my man, putting on a great show. We've had a great afternoon of racing. We start off with amateur races and categorized races. You also had a para race jumping in here. That's very cool. It's the first time we've seen that. Is that right?
I was so excited to see those guys race. It's the first time we've done that, and I was up on San Pony Hill when they came through, and I think the para athletes got probably more cheering than any race I've ever seen up there. So it was a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, just it's hard enough going around able-bodied up that thing. You know, let these, you know, armchair athletes go up there, not slow by any means. You know, you couldn't even run and keep up. That's how fast they're going. It's very, very impressive what they're doing, and you know, it's incredible that the team at Tulsa Tough has been able to showcase that level of athlete.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right. Athlete's the key word, and those guys are athletes too. So it was fun to see. I'm glad we could have this opportunity to provide to them, and I'm sure we'll keep doing this, and it's exciting.
Yeah, and I'm sure that whole community is going to see this, and it's going to just get even bigger. You know, like just how Tulsa Tough got bigger by just word of mouth experience. Those athletes are going to go home, tell their friends, they're going to see it, and you know, I'm looking forward to next year and the platform that you provide. You know, all of those athletes and watch it grow.
Funny story, we created the category and we didn't know if people would be interested in participating in it, and so we set a goal that, you know, we needed to have at least 10 athletes to be able to produce the race and put the time in, the schedule and everything to make it work. So we put the word out to the para community that we needed to have at least 10 people, and the next day we had 12.
That's awesome.
And we actually can see it on our screen here on the right-hand side, some of the para athletes, and it's very cool. These are like Formula One chassis out there. These bikes can really carve through these turns, carrying a ton of speed. And the strength and resiliency of these riders is just unmatched to be able to execute us, because that's a climb going up Sound Pony Hill.
I've seen some of those bikes in person. I had the opportunity to assist a colleague of mine to help produce a para-athlete qualifier, Olympic qualifier event that included time trials, road racing, Criterium, and the athletes themselves, the equipment they used, so they were, you know, running me right through it, and there's a lot of carbon fiber.
Yeah, those are super machines. A lot of engineering going into them. Very, very cool. I mean, I'd love to ride one, but I couldn't even probably do it justice. You know, I couldn't even produce enough speed or power to have that thing ride like it's supposed to ride. So, yeah, just absolutely incredible.
Whole different set. And, you know, I don't know if you saw any of the tight shots or not, but they get so close with the front wheel, in between those two back wheels tucked in. Some of those bikes even have roll bars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when you come up and they'll bump.
It's like NASCAR, just bump draft.
If you're not rubbing, you're not racing.
There, yeah. And, yeah, Malcolm, I really appreciate you guys spending the expense on the weather, the AC bill here in Tulsa, compared to years past. So we appreciate it here, even though we're just sitting here. But I think everybody, the whole community, just really is embracing this 80-degree weather for the first time. It's not 7 a.m.
Once every 20 years, Daniel. Once every 20 years, you die.
Hey, you know.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
Well, this is Malcolm McCollum. He's your title Executive Director of the St. Francis Tulsa Tough. He is the mastermind behind making all these beautiful things happen here and really turning out our community. We're going to have Malcolm on tomorrow before our Sunday coverage at Crybaby Hill, or the McElroy Riverfront Criterium, as it's better known. But Malcolm, thank you so much for being here today, and congratulations again on another fantastic 19th edition of the St. Francis Tulsa Tough.
Can you give us any insight to what your 20 is going to be? Color scheme, special edition, any kind of Easter eggs? I know this weekend's not even done, but I know your team, I know you. The 20th anniversary is on your mind. Do I have to start training for what the GC prize is going to be?
You better.
Oh,
you
man.
better. So I'll give you a little bit of a clue. First of all, yes, you're right. We are working on that. So not only is next year the 20th anniversary of the St. Francis Tulsa Tough, but it's the 100th anniversary of Route 66.
Oh, my goodness.
Probably all you need to know.
Very cool. Oh, man. Well, we can't wait to see it. But we still have a day and a half, or a pro men's race here tonight, and then a full day of racing tomorrow, where the whole town comes out. At the hotel that we're staying at downtown, there's a cafe on the first floor. I went in for a sandwich, and they're like, "Oh, Crybaby Hill, we take that day off." And I was like, everybody takes that day off. And they're like, we take Monday off too. I was like, everybody takes Monday off in Tulsa.
Every restaurant owner in or near downtown Tulsa knows, just close the doors on Saturday, because if the staff that you've given the time off, well, first of all, they're not going to show up because they got the time off. And it doesn't matter. The rest of your staff is going to call in sick anyway. So you have 0 staff to run an establishment. So they gave up on that years ago. Pretty much every restaurant down here just shuts down.
It's amazing. I love that everybody knows that. It's just like, it's so cool how woven into the fabric of culture in Tulsa that this event has become. And that's truly a testament to all of your team's hard work and all of the great connections that you have founded here for this event here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So thank you, Malcolm.
Yeah, Gabe, I'm glad you mentioned the team's hard work because I get to be the face and the voice of the event, but I've got like 800 people behind me and some just amazing support crew, and the staff of this event is what really makes it happen. It's what allows me to sit here and be on Easy Street on Saturday. They're doing all the work out there. They're amazing.
They really are. They really are truly amazing, and that's why we have such amazing bike racing here as well, because the world has turned out for the St. Francis Tulsa Tough, and they're putting on a show. And as we see Alfredo Bueno off the front of this race going full gas and really starting to wind up the speed and intensity of our pro men's race, with Legion of Los Angeles trying to set the tone and get themselves a win here tonight.
Looking forward to seeing how this evolves tonight. I mean, you saw last night you had an all-international podium here in Tulsa. So
is that the first time that it's American has been locked out of the men's podium?
Good question. I'd have to go back and do some research on that. You might be right about that.
Yeah, so very, very cool to see how the race has expanded, how much international talent comes. And yeah, I think, to my recollection, I think that's the first time an American has been locked out in some fashion of the podium. So we've got work to do.
We had, up your game there. Well, I do know we had over 100 foreign athletes registered this year alone.
That's amazing. I guess we're going to ask the team how many different countries that is. But 100 is so many. That's just amazing how much people just come here and make it part of their year.
Be interesting. Last year we were at 44 states and 16 countries.
Wow.
Big numbers here. If you're interested in checking out more about what Malcolm's talking about, definitely check out TulsaTough.com. I know if you're on the YouTube channel, you probably came through TulsaTough.com. There are a lot of activities you can participate in as a rider. We have fondos, we have group rides, we have charity events. There's all sorts of ways of becoming involved. You don't necessarily have to just be a pro in order to come out and celebrate with us here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to be part of the St. Francis Tulsa Tough. So we got the Executive Director, Malcolm McCollum, right here in the Zico broadcast booth tent, and we are about 15 minutes into our pro men's race here on the second day of racing, which is the FC Tulsa Arts District Criterium. Here, the second stage of our 2025 Omnium event. Some of this race starting to change on the front right now. Alfredo Bueno has now been off the front. He's number 73 for Legion of Los Angeles for a few laps now. And we're starting to see, looks like Brian Gomez bridging him across to that move.
Yeah, and this is definitely, Brian Gomez was in a motorcycle accident earlier this year, so he's coming back from a pretty big injury. He's not Gomez of the past. Doesn't mean he's not strong, but he would probably favor a smaller group sprint rather than just outright field sprinting that he's been used to. But it's kind of coming back together. Bueno is, again, getting locked up a little bit. Again, such a hard course with that headwind downhill to do it by yourself this early in the race. But here we see Brody McDonald doing the counterattack.
Yeah, nice, well-timed move. It's a matter of who he's brought with him. It's going to be one of your feet athletes, Daniel.
Yeah, that's Christian. He's a local Colorado guy. Works for the feet. Incredible guy. Young in experience. Big on horsepower. He's been learning a lot this year, but he is definitely a bit of a dark horse. If it's a small move off the front, he's going to be able to inject a lot of pace and be able to do it for the full duration of a race like this.
We were just joking about what the prize is going to be for next year. Somebody on the YouTube comments asked whether or not that Blackwing by Don Thornton Automotive would be a prize worth racing for. Malcolm, what do you think? Can we convince Don Thornton Automotive to give us a Blackwing?
I know they would tell me that everything's for sale.
So is there going to be enough prize money to purchase a Blackwing?
We should have started the fundraising in 2001.
Yeah. Well, big thanks to the Don Thornton Auto Group and bringing out that black wing for the pace vehicle for our pro men's race. Daniel and I are eager to give it a test drive, so if they're interested, we can certainly see if we can light up those rear tires.
Have you gotten to take a hot lap in the car?
You know, the funniest thing is, in 20 years, 19 different St. Francis Tulsa Toughs, I've never even sat in one of those pace cars.
Oh my God!
This is the one to do it.
Yeah.
You better get an orange flag out and stop that car and go for a couple hot laps.
It looks pretty nice.
We got some bike racing going on right now, 18 minutes in, and we have some new faces putting themselves on the front of this
Yeah, that's
race.
Aaron Beebe from First Internet Bank with the DCC rider behind him. Alex Cowan, part of it with the Bikers rider in fourth. So they are definitely wanting to push the pace. First Internet Bank, I don't think, has a pure sprinter, but they've got good horsepower if they can find themselves in a move off the front. But here in a Preem, small gap, you got Robin Carpenter monitoring the field, kind of slowly reducing the pace and allowing this move to get a gap for Alex Cowan. We know he rides this course super well. He was a key figure in the breakaway last year. So he knows how to ride this course. So we'll see if this little move continues to pull out some gap, or how it goes up the hill and into this Preem lap.
We got a $200 Preem on the line. I got a question from about how, Malcolm, how your Preem structures work with your sponsors. Like, are these individuals, or is it Zico getting in on the Preems? Like, how would you, other race directors out there, how would you go about getting some Preems into their races?
That's a really good question. So when we budget for the event, we budget a certain amount that comes out of the St. Francis Tulsa Tough kitty, so to speak. What usually happens is we have any number of donors that come to us and say, hey, we're going to chip in on this. Tonight's race is really interesting because we have a local bank, Triad Bank, that gave me $3,500, and they said they want it all in the pro men's and women's race on Saturday. So
there you go. I mean, we had a lot of Preems in the pro women's race, and I think Olivia Cummins came out with $700.
Triad Bank did that.
All right.
Just another local bank.
Very cool.
Supporting the community, and they're amped to see what these athletes do with it.
And then does Triad Bank have a tent out here, and they're hanging out, they're partying with the rest of Tulsa here?
I think you'll find Triad right up next to Sound Pony.
There you go.
Yeah, big relationship between Sound Pony and Triad Bank, and everything that the Sound Pony does, not just on that hill, but what they do in the cycling community here in Tulsa. Two important figures that have really helped be a part of Tulsa and Tulsa Tough.
There they are. They're hanging out. That's Sound Pony. That's Sound Pony Hill. This is an iconic thing. If you've ever raced here, or you have certainly heard the sound coming out of Sound Pony right now. That's right across from where the Big Ride after party has been in the past as well. So a whole lot of action occurring there on Sound Pony Hill.
And here we go. We got our first kind of break established. It's probably 10 seconds. It doesn't look like that much with the hill, but you have bikers. You have Alex Cowan. You have Brody. No, not sure the Blazers ride is the moment, just offhand. But you have Akil Campbell has made that move with Aaron Beebe. So some key teams, some key riders that are going to have a lot of help from the back, not chasing, with two guys coming across. A Techers riders bringing another DCC rider. So now those two DCC riders need to have a quick conversation and say one of us has got to commit fully while the other one gets to rest a bit.
This is a 70-minute race here tonight, Daniel. So we're about 22 minutes into it. At this point in time, strategy-wise, what are we looking at from DCC or Legion of Los Angeles? Are they happy with this split, going to let it sort of ride, or do they have to, do we have a little bit of, like, we want to see more control? What's your thoughts?
Everybody's just kind of executing strategy, setting the tone, putting the race in the direction that they wanted, before the race even started. So Techers probably said, hey, we want to be in the move with, whatever it is. DCC, they got the horsepower, they got the numbers, saying we need to be in the move, ideally two. Legion has placed a rider in there. Again, there was so much chaos last night. It was changing so fast that it was like, hey, we need to be present, be at the front, and when you get there, ride. We don't want as much chaos, so help extend that gap as fast as possible and let the teammates behind kind of control what's going on.
Got some very strong riders in this move, and there's more collaboration than what we saw last year as well, right, Daniel?
Yeah, it's a bigger number, which kind of gets tricky with 2 DCC, but it's early enough that all these guys should kind of know, to stay focused, keep your head on, put the work in, establish the gap, and then kind of evaluate. Have the communication, whether it's via radio, whiteboard, or whatever with the team on the side to decide, like, okay, hey, we like this, we like our situation, continue to press forward, or, hey, kill the breakaway passively, get to the front, at the top of the hill and kill the speed, make it hard for the other guys, to ramp the speed back up, get that fatigue accumulated in the other riders there. That way their team that, missed it or wants to be a part of it doesn't have to do a massive chase from behind. You're kind of killing the bait from the front. So we're still seeing things get sussed out. Foundation is sending a rider across, tagged by Legion, probably Robin Carpenter, it looks like, kind of based on some body language.
It's Barboza from CRC Foundation trying to bring that back. He's a big diesel and can definitely put in some power. But in this break, we got very strong riders, all collaborating very well right now.
And is that Jim Brown from the Blazers?
Yeah, Jim Brown is in there.
Yeah, I mean, a guy that is ultra dangerous, and even more so at a move like this. He's got the engine to kind of just do his turns, but very, very rapid in the finish here.
Real quick, we got Matt Bostock, Akil Campbell, Jim Brown, Andreas Meyer, Juan Pablo Zapata, Aaron Beebe, and Alec Cowan in there. There's 8 in that move, so big move here. A lot of very strong riders. Akil from Trinidad and Tobago. He's won national championships from down there. He has gone to world championships for Trinidad and Tobago on the track. And Andreas Meyer is in this move.
Yeah, now we can kind of see DCC has had that collection, had that quick conversation. They've, kind of established one guy to really, really hammer the pace home. The other guy gets to sit on. They've got to be careful, because if it disrupts it too much by really letting one guy set, we can see the splits happening. Now, both DCC guys are gapped off. They've missed that little split and just adding work because they just want Bostock in the rotation. So it's a fine balance to save a rider, but also just not kill the momentum of the group because they're wanting to get too crafty too early. So, Akil, Aaron Beebe, they need to continue to work, continue to extend this gap, even though they're not the main players, they're not on big teams that are in charge of the pacemaking and extending of the gap. It's a little later they can start to be crafty. Beebe does not, even out of a small group like this, want to sprint. He's got to find a way to extend himself in this situation. Yeah, those, Aaron Beebe and Akil need to just keep the rotation going to keep everybody happy, but not do anything too much or too long in this breakaway.
So again, we got Juan Pablo Zapata, Andreas Meyer, Jonas Schmeiser, Aaron Beebe, Jim Brown, Akil Campbell, Alec Cowan, and Matt Bostock in this breakaway. That's Zapata on the front. He is a very strong rider. He has mountain biking is actually where he got started. He's been on the podium at the Tour of Somerville, and definitely a very strong finisher for the biker cycling program. So nice to see him up there. We got a rider in the pit right now.
Kyle Perry from First Internet Bank. Again, he's been around for a decade plus. Look just how calm and chill he is, letting the mechanics do the work, having a drink, having a gel when it's easy. And that is the perfect example of how you handle yourself in a pit.
So while Mr. Kyle Perry gets himself set and sorted there in the pit, when we have our breakaway with 8 strong going through, we're going to jump back into our Zico broadcast booth with Australian rider Odette Lynch.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Odette. Welcome to our Zico broadcast booth tent. So you're racing for Fearless Femme, presented by Robert Tay, and so far in 2 days of racing here at St. Francis Tulsa Tough, what's your initial takeaway of just like what this event is and just sort of the vibe? It's because this is a big one.
Yeah, I think this is like my second year of racing really, and my first year of racing over here in the US. And I know everyone before I came here was saying like US Crits are where it's at, and then coming here, like I think seeing the crowd, and especially the crowd yesterday, like every single straight was fully lined with people screaming and like, oh my God, everyone's here cheering, and it was like really, really like electric atmosphere, and I think that just really added to everything, and yeah, really like brought that intensity like on top of all the racing intensity as well. So it's just been really, really cool to see, and yeah, really intense racing too. Like really, I've had to learn a lot. I think like all these girls racing have done it 5 or 6 years in a row now, I've heard, which is like crazy to me, and I'm sort of like, oh my God, like all these people are so experienced, and like yeah, I feel like I'm learning something new every day. So yeah, it's been really cool.
So let's jump into last night at the McNally's Group Blue Dome event, where you saw all the 20,000 people cheering you on. You had a teammate, Bryony Botha, on the breakaway, and your teammate, Worski, I believe, was helping out a lot, because I thought you were being protected in there. But tell us what it was like from your perspective out there last night.
Yeah, well, I think obviously Bryony, she's an absolute diesel, and usually she's kind of like my person in the bunch. Like today I was just following her, and it's usually my goal, and then having her up the road, I was like really, really hoping to stay away for her, because you know she's an absolute gun and really wanted that for her. But then it did mean I didn't really have my person in the bunch, so that also added a little bit of an elephant to me to kind of navigate too. So I was sort of more on my own, but then yeah, Erica was up there sort of trying to cover things when needed and caused a bit of disruption, which obviously came back together on the last lap, but I think hopefully it kind of gave everyone something to watch and made it entertaining for everyone. So,
it sure did. It was a thrilling race for everybody. I mean, the fact that there was 35 seconds at one point, and then it came back down together on the final lap, and you got in that sprint there a little bit. Walk us through that last lap, or even just the final 500 meters, because it looked like it was just move after move after move there.
I think, yeah, like I said, like a lot of the girls here have done these courses before, so they sort of know exactly where you need to be and move up for that final sprint. Like as a sprinter, it's like everything's so instantaneous, and if you miss a move or slightly take a corner too slow, like that could be a whole sprint done. So I think, yeah, rewatching the footage, even seeing like, oh, I was quite far back compared to like, you know, Kendall and that, and then as soon as they went, they just absolutely launched, and coming from a few wheels back on that final corner, it was just like, oh my God, like there's so much road to make up. But you know, like I've got 2 fourths now, which will be pretty frustrating, but like I don't know, I can sort of taste it. Hopefully something will come out of it soon. But
well,
yeah.
let's talk about the FC Tulsa Arts District Criterium, which is tonight. You got 4th again, which is very solid, just off the podium, a little bittersweet there, but since it's a fresh memory, walk us through that final sprint, because from our perspective it looked like Alexis Magner, Kendall Ryan, and Chloe Patrick were very proactive in those final few moments. You were also right in the mix, Bryony trying to lead you out with 2 to go. Did you do a little too much too early, or what was going on?
Yeah, I think like what I'd sort of learned was I'd often got into these sprints like too many wheels back, so we're like, look, we do just need to be like further on the front, and I do think we did that well today, but then just on that last corner I think we took it a little bit wide, which opened it up for Kendall and the Siniski girls to just like cut right through, and as soon as I saw them I was like, oh gosh, like I should have just gone. And then like I said before, the sprinting, it's like if you miss something like that, it's like you really got to make it up, and then I did like Riley like hit my wheel in that sprint too, so I kind of was like, oh well, that kind of my sprint done there, but you know I kept going and yeah, got in 4th. So
we were actually just seeing some clips from Friday last night, really quick, and maybe we'll bring up some clip from tonight as well to reference what you're speaking about. But I think what I'm hearing is a little bit about, you know, our sport is so it's not just about fitness, it is also about craft, right? Daniel, to your right, 21-time national champion. He has been the Omnium champion here how many times?
3, I believe.
Three-time Omnium champion here. He's a legend. You walk down the street, autographs get signed, right? You know, his craft is something that is really still people trying to learn it, right? And I think that if you could just speak a little bit, because you're very new to our sport in a way.
Ex-rower.
Yeah, you're a rower. This is your 2nd year racing, I believe, and you're already in the hunt for podiums at the Super Bowl of bike races. Talk us through like what your learning curve has been, and where you sort of see yourself in like next year or maybe 2 years out.
Yeah, well, I think like I said, sort of last year was my first year racing consistently in Australia. There isn't really as much racing. Like we've got the Pro Velo Super League, which I just came off January to March before I came over here, which is sort of growing, but it's still nothing like the US crit scene here. And yeah, in terms of like learning racecraft, like my boyfriend races too, and I've kind of learnt a lot off him. But still, like every day, I feel like I'm learning something new. Like sort of even just holding a position in the bunch and always moving forward, how to take corners like in different races and speeds and attacks, and just knowing when to move up as a sprinter zone, how to conserve your energy. Like I think that's really important. And yeah, it's always something happening.
Yeah, Danielle, so can you talk a little bit about just how long it sort of takes to sort of get the moment where instinct is able to kick in and allow your physical ability to really capitalize upon getting those results?
I mean, everybody's different. When you're young, and it's just like if you just keep an open mind, don't get locked into too much ideology, you'll be able to absorb that much more, learn that much more quick. I mean, like, you'll never make the mistake you did today on hesitating because you thought you were in the chair.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm in the lounge, I just got to get through this corner and then I can launch. And you've never been here before, right? But
No.
the sisters had, right? They knew
Yeah.
exactly what to do and when to do it, and that was just a world-class show by Alexis on timing, because she didn't even let her sister through the door,
No.
right? And she kept the momentum. And so you'll be able to rewatch that, experience that, and put those pieces together of this million-piece puzzle on how to win bike races, and apply that experience today and yesterday into any crit and how you see it and how it laid out. So just be elastic, keep the mind just open to any and every opportunity to learn, and you'll be great. I mean, it's just, this is just mind-blowing. This is your second year in the sport at this level, punching with heavyweights. I mean, you're one decision, just one decision after 70 minutes of chaos into winning one of these things, which is crazy impressive. It's so fun to watch, and hopefully you guys keep coming back, and we keep to experience more of what you have to give, and hopefully you bring more Aussies here. You guys, the Aussies have history here. Scotty Law has brought guys over and raced. So you guys have a big culture. We just love to see more of it come over, because you guys are, your mentality is very aggressive, and we could definitely use some of that racing.
Yeah, for sure. And I've also just started on the track. Like, I had my first track season over the summer, and hopefully maybe I can make the Olympic team on that. So I think the crits have really, you can combine a lot from the track and the road. And again, I'm learning a lot on the track, learning a lot in the crits, but I think it sort of, it does complement each other nicely. And my coach on the track, Asha Kudanov, she's done a lot of racing here, back with Fearless Femmes as well, and got some podiums, which is pretty awesome. So got a lot of people to learn from.
You got some great people to learn from, including the guy sitting to your right. He knows his way around a velodrome once or twice as well. So right now, just jumping into the bike race real quick, that we've got a $300 preem, I believe, that is coming around, and we are going to see what the field dynamic is going to be. We had a group of 8 up front. Looks like we are starting to come back together. Did I miss something, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, that group was working well together. But what they didn't do, I think, fully is really commit to blowing out the gap as big as possible really quick. It allowed Cadence to, again, foolishly sitting at the back, playing that game of being too relaxed. But because they're so strong, Luke Fetzer just did an absolute ripper to reset this race, really extend the pace, make it super, super hard, and then Garrison just doubles down on that effort after sitting in, and you can see that it's single file front to back, very little 2x, and we see this chaos kind of play out in this race, but Fetzer's up there more or less by himself. Where's Bourgogne to take advantage of all that work and the potential reset that's going to happen? I mean, you can expect Garrison to launch again. Here goes Alec Cowan again, countering out of that move. But look at, the race is split. That's there's a split and then a split and then a split. It's like, who's in the very back completely missing out? This is absolute chaos. I mean, I talked to the Legion guys this morning about, the race can go in half, and when it does, the front, even though you're tired, it has to keep going, because these guys have no idea who's up there, who's attacking, who's fresh, and by the time it may even come back together, there's so much communication that even has to happen to be like, who's off the front by how much, whatever else.
I mean, the race is split in half, though, completely.
Yeah.
And, look at Cowan, though. He's just pedaling down. These guys are tossing. They have no idea that this race is just split in half. And look at behind. It's a fierce chase right now. So much energy is being burned just to get in. This would be a cool opportunity for somebody just to smack it right now and jump around.
Yeah, if Summerhill's up here, he needs to go. Robin Carpenter, this is a perfect time to pull out a few people. We see the muck-off helmet of Alex Cowan there. He's got teammates kind of trying to come across, but this is super important for the guys that have any kind of energy. Keep pushing forward. The experienced guys here, the guys that are ahead on the shoulders. There's 2 Jumbotrons here. which is, corner one and at the top of the hill, that you can see a lot of the race develop and go on. So the guys in the front are going to be able to have a breath, look at the Jumbotron, see how big the gaps are, and see what they want to do with it. But, if I'm a director with any kind of horsepower in this group, I'm saying keep the pressure on, keep the pressure on, keep the pressure on, because the elastic's going to snap. It's been, 5 or 6 laps with Fetzer bridging that gap, closing it back down in this reset that, there's another group that can kind of come out of this.
Look at that look that Cowan just gave. He just looked back and realized that there's a gap behind the wheel 30 or so. Is
that's Carpenter.
Oh, that's Carpenter. Oh,
Eder
even
Frere,
worse for everybody.
BB, Clever Martinez, a biker's rider. There's the horsepower right there, but you see Alex Cowan, Danny Summerhill from Legion, about 15 wheels back. They really need to, Cowan has obviously been off the front a lot, but Summerhill, I think, needs to look for an opportunity, kind of wink, wink, nod, nod to a guy like Garrison or somebody else that has the HP to take him off the front and really take advantage of this split.
We've got. I just want to get one more question in here. So the two of you have raced here today, right? So you did the pro. You did the 1-2. Odette did the pro one for our women. Odette and Daniel, walk me through right now with this moment in time. 38 minutes in, we're coming into the final third-ish of the final half of the race. Do we think that fatigue is going to just start to accumulate in legs, and we're going to start to see snaps occur? Go ahead, Odette.
Yeah, well, I think, how many guys starters were there today?
130.
Oh, well, even, watching here, you can see if you're out the back, that moving forward is, nearly impossible. So I think definitely if you're not in that top third, your race is almost done at this point. So definitely I feel like doing that little pinch there, it doesn't look like anything, but, 40 minutes in, it definitely starts to feel like something. So I feel like we will start to see a few more splits if the guys are actually attentive and keep attacking, keeping aggressive.
And what do you think, Daniel? Do you agree with Odette that if you're in the back half of this race, your day's done already?
Unless you're very special. I mean, the one person that I see absolutely back 10 wheels is Ty Magner. He's the only one that, outright looking quickly has the craft. His fitness, I don't think, is what it was a few years ago. But again, when you have that supreme racecraft and you're tuned in and you're locked in, all of a sudden in 3 laps we could be like, why? Magner's off the front? He's just that type of rider. But it's going to take somebody that special to be able to kind of right the ship and get into it. But we can see that it's ballooning at the front. It's going to come back together unless, again, guys really commit to making this race ultra, ultra hard. But I think there's still a split coming out of the back. Guys, are just feeling the pace. There's so much whip back there as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, Odette Lynch of Fearless Trim, presented by Robert Tay. Thank you for coming into the booth here for the Zico broadcast booth. It's been an honor talking to you. Good luck tomorrow at Crybaby Hill. Real quick before you leave us, what's the strategy tomorrow? Are you going to be on those steps?
Oh, we'll see. We're actually staying right next to the hill, so we got to have a bit of a look at it the other day, and I was like, oh, I can see why people call it Crybaby Hill. So I think, hopefully it'll feel a lot faster in the bunch than driving up it in a car, but we'll see how it goes. Apparently the atmosphere is also electric there, so I'm keen to see what that's like, but keen for it to be done, to be honest.
All right. Well, Odette Lynch of Fearless Swimmer, presented by Robert Tay. Thank you very much for being here today, and congratulations on 2 fourth places in our first 2 days of St. Francis Tulsa Tough.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
All right. So we've got our full race here tonight, and as Odette and Daniel were just talking about, if you're not really in the front half of this race, you are playing with fire, because this thing is starting to come undone. And it looks like we're going to have another guest coming into the booth here momentarily. Meanwhile, on our cameras, we have our DCC rider. It's going to be Jonas Schmeiser. Jonas racing a very unique setup, a 62-tooth front chainring with a very tight lock in the rear. One of the few riders, we talked about that last night. Daniel was talking about chain alignment and all sorts of nuanced things that go into those decisions. But 62-tooth chainring, I don't know if I could even get that thing up to speed. My goodness.
Yeah, you'd need a 20% downhill.
Yeah, I would. I just need to start up at the Art Museum to get that thing up to speed. Joining us here, though, in the booth, none other than Alexis Magner, your winner here today, and now our Omnium leader in the St. Francis Tulsa Tough, I believe. Alexis, welcome to the Zico broadcast booth. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
How are you feeling right now? I mean, that looked like a fantastic race from our perspective, but you were in it, and we were just talking to a new rider, Odette Lynch. She got 4th today, and Daniel was articulating with her about how your experience here seemed to really help play to your favor. But tell us like it is from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think as with all crits, like if you've won them before or if your teammates won them before and you know how to win them, you have an upper hand on the competition. And I raced for Legion for the last couple of years, and I've led Kendall out to many wins, so I knew that I needed to lead through that last corner to have any chance of winning. And to be honest, I was expecting to get second.
So you didn't think you thought Kendall would come around you?
I thought she'd come around me, but I was happy with that because I'd like to win the overall. That's our big goal in Siniska this weekend. So, and I know that tomorrow I won the race last year, and it's a great race for me. Not the best race for Kendall, so I knew that even if she won both days, I'd probably have a good chance at winning the overall if I stayed up there in the results the first 2 days.
Well, you've definitely stayed in the results. I mean, now, so you got second last night, win tonight, leading out. Does that take pressure off of you for tomorrow? But also, then, does that change your tactic or approach anymore?
I think it takes the pressure off a little bit. Have a little bit more wiggle room, but I don't think it's going to change the approach to the race. I mean, Crybaby is it's hard, and you've got to be at the front, and you've got to be in that breakaway because it's going to happen at some point.
Talk to us a little bit about the field dynamic that's been happening out in the women's field this season. I mean, Chloe Patrick last night, my goodness, she was such a teammate. Holy smokes, right? And then the rest of your squad has stepped up. They've shut things down. They've kept things controlled. But, you know, you're racing against your old teammates. We have the CCB here has done a really nice job. Bounce had a few moments of being aggressive. So do you feel like our race dynamic this year at St. Francis Tulsa Tough has been another elevation in our pro women's field?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the last few years, especially being on Legion, we were kind of the dominant team. And now this year, there isn't really a dominant team. There's 3 or 4 strong teams that are all kind of up in the mix. And obviously you saw tonight, like there really wasn't one team that took over the lead out. Fearless Femme was definitely up there in the most dominant, but it was a washing machine in the last 5 laps.
What happens in this moment on screen right now? You're talking to your sister. Are you saying good job, sorry about that? Or
yeah, I'm saying good job. She wasn't very happy. I think it was a bit sloppy there on that downhill run into the final corner. So she was happy for me to take the win, but obviously she's still a fierce competitor and wants to win herself. So you can be frustrated about moments that happen in the race. That's okay.
Have you got to watch it back yourself on the final corner and how you set it up?
I haven't actually, but
I think you're going to be...
I ripped that turn.
You ripped it, and I mean, we talked about it in the broadcast how it was just... You know, I would imagine a lot of that was just instinct in the moment. Again, having so much experience here, and you know, you thinking, "Oh my God, I'm doing this. I'm going to get second." But you timed it so perfect that Kendall just got jammed up. She didn't keep the momentum that she would want to, you know, and you immediately just got enough room that she just wasn't able to close it in that. So just super impressive to see all that experience in just the moment. And again, we talked to Odette Lynch, and you know, it was like, oh, you probably felt you were in the lounge chair. You just needed to get through the corner because your lead out was there. And she had that mindset, and because of the experience, you just ducked underneath perfectly, and it caught her off guard. Which is like amazing to see. You're just such a classy rider. Come out and do it just the way you did, and just how fast you can, you know, go through these corners. You'd probably put a lot of the 1-2 men to shame for sure. That they'd be surprised and have probably for the most part, keeping up in the pro race for a bit of time.
I have a question actually from the YouTube comments that we got going here about that moment. Is that instinct or like a calculation?
I think it's both. I mean, Holly had hit it up the climb on the backside of the course, and I didn't really want to be second wheel going over the top. I knew that was too far forward, and so I just let the Fearless Femme girls in again. And Holly kind of died going through the top corner. Fearless Femme girls took over going down the hill, and at the top of the hill, in my mind, I was just going to stay on their wheel through the last corner. And then, you know, about 150 meters from the corner, I thought, nah, I don't think so. I got to go. And I went and I took the corner so fast. I mean, I exited and I didn't realize there was dirt on the exit of the corner because I hadn't gone through the corner that fast all race. And I was like, oh, well, hopefully I don't skirt this too hard. Skirt. Yeah, I think that was, it's a calculation, but it's also instinct. It's just, I have a long sprint, but it's not, I don't have like a super high peak power, so I need to like give myself time to like get up to speed, and I knew that going from the corner was probably my best shot.
So just for my layman's terms, you use the downhill as a way to accelerate, kind of like the banking of a velodrome, to then get you up to speed. You carry that through and you just roll that gear to the finish line?
Well, so I came into the corner, I was in a massive gear and going so fast that I didn't want to chirp the back tire, so I was in a really big gear so I could start pedaling sooner.
Okay.
And then I laddered up a little bit so I could jump.
Oh.
And then once I started sprinting, I was like, oh my God, my legs are dying. So then I did a Ty Magner and just got in a massive gear and was just muscling it. And I thought Kendall was going to come by me. I was looking. Like, oh my God, no one came. Okay, sweet, I won. Guess I should post up.
Speaking of Ty, he's playing a lovely game at the back.
He might be hurting right now.
So can you give us some insight? We were talking about one who was just absolutely strung out, that if you weren't in the first third of this race, you're going to have a long day, and maybe your day was going to be early, but he was the one guy that I noticed back there that has all the craft and ability to right the ship if and when needed. But you being his wife, can you give us any insight to the game he's playing, where his headspace is at? We know it's his final year racing. I know last year he was maybe, I don't know if disappointed is the right word, and he didn't want to leave his career on that note, and this was kind of the year to right the ship. It's still very long. But what can we expect out of Ty this weekend and then the rest of the year?
I mean, I think he's got some extra motivation now that he's finally announced to the world that it's his final year. But also at this point, knowing his fitness, he knows he only has a couple matches.
Yep.
And so I'm sure that he may seem to be sitting kind of far back, but he knows that he's conserving energy, and when he needs to get to the front, he'll do it in like, you know, between corners, and he'll do his job when he needs to do his job. So him kind of being the guy to like follow all these moves is just, it's not a good use of his skill and his experience. So I'm sure he's saving his matches for getting Danny and Justin in position for the sprint.
All right, well, we've got 12 laps of racing coming up here. So, Alexis Magner, thank you very much for being with us. Congratulations on a great race here today, and best of luck tomorrow at Crybaby Hill. I'm sure we'll talk to you before tomorrow's racing, but thanks again for coming into the Zico broadcast booth here, and get those feet up. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, 12 laps of racing here, and we've got ourselves some action at the front. Very interesting dynamics have been playing out here the last few laps, where we have one rider off the front, and look at the field. We're fence to fence here on this field, but we have a lot of major players up at the front right now. This one rider taking the opportunity to play advantage runner on the front right now, but who is in the middle?
Yeah, we just got, he's got an earpiece to the live stream. Ty Magner, I think, is now in the top 20, just reading the race beautifully, understanding and knowing, trusting the race number 75 there. Just knowing the pace has got to come off. I mean, this race has been pretty bananas, from 10 minutes into, roughly this point. We've seen a lot of breaks come, go, a lot of bridging, a lot of reshuffling. It seems like this is kind of the, collectively the group kind of needed a bit of a reset. But, these 10 laps are going to be, fireworks as guys start to jockey for position. We see DCC, in the fight. We've seen him in the pit a lot as well. For whatever reason, I think half the team has been in the pit. But now we see two Legion riders off the front with Cowan, and I believe that's Bueno. Alec Briggs of Techers first internet bank rider, maybe.
Yeah, so we now have sort of a bridge here. So Alec Briggs of Techers has gotten himself into the mix here, and Bueno looks to be the rider from Legion of Los Angeles, who's now made contact with that one rider.
And that's Riley Wrightsman's second wheel for first interbank. And, you know, a guy that on this course, you know, has the engine. I know we didn't see, he kind of got, you know, knocked off the brake yesterday, but he's a guy that, you know, in the move can add horsepower, but it really has come back together. We see Dario Raps there in the pink leaders jersey, not his German national team jersey, so he's been lying low. This is kind of the first time we've really seen him be a part of the action.
But he's moving up, and you know, and I think that he's starting to put himself in a position where he's getting ready for the finale. Somebody on the on our comments asking about, could one solo rider take it all the way to the line? I think that with 10 laps to go, that's going to be a hard ask.
Yeah, 10 laps to go on this course in these conditions, near impossible. There's, you know, one guy that could do something.
Who?
5 to go. You know, would be Michael Garrison. You know, depending if he's how much water he's taken on, but you know, again, you know, he won Spartanburg solo. The last 10 laps he went away, and word on the street is that his power for that 10 minutes was around 490. So just absolutely just bananas. And Spartanburg's not flat, you know, it's on a you know, a rectangle on a hill.
But they did have 130 guys who are some of the best of the best.
I mean, it was a pretty stellar field. You know, it definitely wasn't Tulsa deep, but you know, it wasn't, you know, wasn't racing against juniors. So just, again, regardless of who's in the field, just 490 watts.
My motorcycle
for 10 minutes. You know, that's easily, depending on his weight, in plus or minus the 6 watts per kilo range. Just absolutely incredible ability there. And so, again, he's such a wild card, racing for himself, that you just have no idea what he wants to do, when he's going to do it, why he's doing it.
What's on that iPad from DCC? What's he doing there? There's no break. What's the communication going to be?
I missed it. We might have to see a replay, or
well, we couldn't see the front of the screen, so we're just wondering, sort of like, what's he drawing on there? Is he putting smiley face on there, or what?
Could be. We just got to have that cameraman tap him on the shoulder and just show us the iPad. You know, you know, in these situations with the screen that size and the team, is they probably have. So he's got right there in red, he's got a start list, it looks like, or he's got names with numbers, you know, that they've highlighted in this race of who the key players are, who to watch for. He's probably got on another sheet kind of the Omnium standings potentially to understand, you know, kind of who the dangerous guys. I mean, look how small this field is. Ooh, and we've got a crash with a couple riders. A biker's rider,
that's
a
Para.
cadence rider.
Is that Para?
No.
Oh, is that Castaneda?
It looks like Castaneda.
Yeah.
I think he does have time to get back to the pit.
Well, it's 9 to go. Pit should still be open. I believe this race in particular, it's open until 7 to go. Oh, it's closed at 6. So pit closes at 6.
At the front.
That's a weird moment to go down.
Very, very weird moment. Did he overlap, it looked like? It's, yeah, really hard, you know. And Castaneda was probably just absolutely confused why that happened, especially at the speed and, you know, the position they were in. That, you know, that shouldn't have been there.
Castaneda frustrated right now. You can see that. I mean, he's riding at the front of the pro bike race, and he got taken out.
Yeah, and he's already got road rash on that side. So definitely not ideal.
$500 preem coming right up. $500 preem from our friends at the Trident Bank. What's the bank?
Triad
Bank. Big thanks to those guys for hanging out at Sound Pony today. Looks like Butcher Box getting up there. Eddie Huntsman second wheel, but Alec Cowan in third wheel.
Ollie Wood right behind there. It looks like from Techers. You know, Eddie's is quick in his own right, but I think he needs a lot of things to go in his favor to pull out a result in this deep of the field. But Garrison in the purple jersey moving out the side, you know, he could just be, again, an absolute ringer. You know, he'd be like, I want $500 today. Why not?
Well, we'll see. I mean, so this late in the race, does that change any dynamic? I mean, so here's some of the guys on the pit cam real quick, just getting themselves sorted, and they'll be pushed in to the back of this field, which is unfortunate. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, you got Alec Cowan and Garrison in the purple and white, and right next to them at 102 is going to be Alec Briggs, owner of the Techers Cycling Program. Nice to have him here. So the Techers boys might be wanting those $500.
Or just starting to establish their position in the front, right? Similar to kind of what they did yesterday. Again, they don't have to set a super hard tempo or anything, but it's if all four are lined up, you just kind of protect your position, everything else. But now we see Eric Bruner on the left side of the field. You know, he's active a little, you know, maybe 10 laps ago. But, you know, this is $500. This pays for a decent amount of his weekend entry fees and some food. So, you know, this is...
Maybe some tubulars for cross season.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. Hopefully people should be paying him to ride those things. So,
I hope so.
Yeah, this is his ability. But again, Al Count follows him, a couple other guys. They could get 4 guys fully committed to this thing and reset, you know, add some chaos to this. But Michael Garrison, I think he may have had a conversation or two with somebody or some team.
Okay. Why? Because he's looking chill? He's not being the aggressive Garrison we saw last year.
Yeah. So, you know, it's, again, but you never know with him what he wants to do, when he wants to do it, etc. So
he is a wild card. But I'm looking at this drone shot right now, and we've got a little bit of pit cam here for the Skyline rider who instigated the crash a few laps ago. But on the drone shot, we're seeing a lot of swarming here with only 7 laps to go in a post $500 preem moment. We're not seeing any counterattacks. We're not seeing another team sort of take control here. So is that showing fatigue in the field?
Yeah, 2 things. Either like, you know, the hard pace, the chaos has, you know, just added enough fatigue that, you know, nobody's looking to be aggressive at this time. And it's still too far out. No team has the depth to really want to take control. You know, again, we're missing cadence, right? We see one guy with the, green jersey and kind of pink highlight.
I think that's Holek.
You know, they really need to establish their place with the whole team. You know, Fetzer had to burn a massive match earlier in the race to right that. Ooh, and there's a crash that just happened going into that final corner.
Okay.
This is the dangerous thing right now with no team taking a lot of control and really setting the pace. It's getting too swarmy. It's allowing riders to move around too much, and those things can kind of happen. But Burgon kind of moving up now in there. But again, he's not surrounded by teammates. He doesn't have anybody doing that work for him. And so here's that, the people from the crash.
So this is our final turn. It looks like Schmidbauer is involved in that crash. He's trying to get his rear derailleur figured out. So Maximilian Schmidbauer, potentially one of those riders. That's unconfirmed. It just looks like him real quick. I can't quite get that number.
That's him.
So Schmidbauer.
He's on the rose bike and the all-black kit.
There we go. So... excuse me, I'm totally wrong on that. That was Maurice Ballerstedt, excuse me. So Ballerstedt, actually the rider going down there, I believe. And another crash has just occurred.
That's massive. Absolutely massive.
Look at all these riders. This is big.
Ollie Wood is down. Legion is fully blocked up. This is going to neutralize the race.
Yeah.
This is absolutely bananas. This is so massive. I mean, again, I was just saying when there's no team that wants to take control and really set a high pace, this is the outcome. You know, this is kind of what happens to it. Justin Williams caught up in this. The Techers team, Ollie with the limp. You know, it's
Ty's in there. Justin's in there.
You know, Justin's trying
Justin lost a seat.
No, that was somebody else's bike. I think what Justin's trying to do is he doesn't want to see the race neutralized. He wants to help.
Okay.
Within reason, you can't just pick somebody up off the ground, but Justin is really trying to help clear the course so the race can go on. He knows that, you know, a neutralization with 6 laps to go has a big impact, and it's still like...
And a big negative impact,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so
but we're still racing. You know, the lead car, the moto, has not backed into the field. They have not waved them down. So
we're going to take a look here from quick trip rollback and just see what this crash is. A bit of a move here. Somebody in the middle of the front. Hard to really tell what's going on, but
from that angle.
But the Carpenter's involved in that. Like some very big names.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very strange end to the race with how many hitters, but it looks like I can see Luke Fetzer, Clever Martinez there with the GoPro.
Yep.
Has made it through there. Eddie Huntsman over there.
Corey Williams is still in the mix there. I'm not seeing Burgoyne, though. Have we seen Lucas? I mean, this was
He's a little smaller rider, right? He's pretty low, so in some of those shots it's pretty low. But
he's near the back.
Caught out.
Yeah.
What is, again, this is... Again, we don't have a head-on shot. Garrison is out.
Chasing, and he's chasing with Wanarongo.
Yeah.
That's massive right there. These boys are all being forced to chase right now because the pit is closed. Neutral pit is closed. Everybody now being forced to chase. Number 38 is going to be Andreas Meyer leading a DCC contingency to try and bring up. Let's see if the Omnium leader.
They have 3 guys. It's the only team with bikers that only has 2 right now that we can see. You know, it's their job to kind of keep this going again, but nobody's fully committing to this.
Bostock is in chase right now. Mike Morales chasing. Look at this. Oh, no.
Yeah.
This will completely change this final kick to the line.
Yeah. I mean, it plays into a guy like Corey Williams' favor. You know, there's nobody to really put the pace on me. Yeah, he doesn't have a teammate to take care of him.
Yep.
But the pace isn't going to be super ramped for him by himself to take a ton of load. So he could be an absolute dark horse here tonight.
Summy may be in here, though.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of crash, I would always consider Summy to be a part of the field sprint. But he's a guy that has the motor to take care of himself these last 5 laps. And he knows how to go through this final corner. But DCC has the numbers to take control, take care of their leader. So there's going to be a big fight behind this train. Summy does have 2 teammates. He's got Alex Cowan and I believe Bueno with him, which is going to be really key. They've got to get together. They've got to communicate and execute a plan. It's for them. It's a lap and a half to go, maybe through 1 and 2 or just after 2 to get into position. And Bueno to launch, or Alec Cowan to launch Bueno and Summy up the hill and around the corner.
So just trying to answer some questions here. That is Clever Martinez up at the front with the GoPro on the helmet. Preston I is no longer in the race. He was taken out in that crash. Jordan Parra
he's in there. Yep, he's in there right on the right side of the screen with a teammate taking care of him.
Yep.
So it's absolute chaos. Tecker, Alec Briggs is there. Teckers, I mean, this is, you know, talk about a guy that can slice dice with the best of them, has the skill set to do it and thrive. It's not the most technical course for him, but when it starts getting slicey, he's a very good guy to be able to do that with him.
This is Bueno on the front right now. He goes 3rd at Nationals on U23 Road just 2 weeks ago. So he's certainly coming into this block of racing with some good fitness, and he's been very proactive throughout the entire night. But here comes Brody McDonald.
Bourgogne has made it.
Bourgogne.
When and where did he come from? He hit the teleport button. Absolute wild that he's made it. In this situation, though, we have, you know, it's coming into 3 laps to go.
Yep.
Such a small group, not anybody with the super deep team. This is, you know, if Aaron Beebe is in there feeling any kind of good, if anybody that's that type of rider, Eric Bruner, for instance, he's a guy that, you know, with 2 laps to go, can cause a ton of chaos by just launching. There's not enough depth. You know, there could be a hesitation if he's feeling good to just absolutely let it fly and take a big risk. I think that's something he should do.
This is Park Firm All-Stars on the front right now. Felix Fontes, I believe, perhaps the rider that is on the front at the moment. They've got Dushan Kalaba, who could be their good finisher, so we're going to try and keep an eye on this field. But a lot of riders still in chase. A number of riders out of this race due to a late race crash up at the front when the pit was already closed. Clever Martinez now floating up near the front, but Dario Raps is tucked in. He is looking comfortable. He's got the pink jersey in the middle, sitting right behind his teammate. He's number 40. He won last night, but right on his wheel is Luke Fetzer. Fetzer, one of the riders that we thought has a chance for tonight. He is the U23 Criterium National Champion. Can he get himself into the position? We're now looking at about 2.5 laps remaining here tonight for our FC Tulsa Arts District Criterium.
Yeah, and it's, you know, unfortunate that Luke doesn't have at least one guy taking care of him. You know, he's still young and maybe a little bit inexperienced on how to really manage his energy at this level, taking care of himself. But now we see Legion, I believe, moving up to the front with bikers. Yep, so this is the time where, you know, teammates have just kind of, you know, commit to just making a really high pace and passing it off to another team with an individual to keep that pace high. It's better for your sprinter to have it just strung out, and everybody can kind of hold place rather than not commit to a pace that swarms and let a silly crash or let your teammate get too swarmed. And we see guys banging barriers coming out of corner 1. You know, fatigue is set in, the pace is high. Everybody is kind of on the limits, but Clever Martinez is here with that GoPro. I think I saw him have one teammate trying to make it. You know, he definitely needs one guy to do a flyer. Because, again, look how much swarming is happening here. You know, Clever just got shuffled back dramatically in that when he was riding through wheels. But we have Fetzer.
This is Fetzer now coming over the top and now trying to drive this pace, but maybe a little bit too early. We've got a lap and a half to go, and he's very exposed. Corey Williams now in third position there, and second wheel, I believe, is that rider who was
But
off
he's
the
got
front earlier.
Bourgogne 15 wheels back. You know, he's got communication that it's his time to just, hey, man, line this thing out. You know, when you do that, you actually give Bourgogne a little more space to kind of move around, find a wheel to follow, and not get jammed up too much. But we see Corey Williams, 10th wheel in that white kit with it's be blue and red. Here it looks black. Clever Martinez has found himself position, but again, that headwind, there's a lot of movement can happen from here. Garrison in the purple jersey there on the left by the yellow line, moving to that fifth, 15, 20 wheels back. It's, you know, how much energy was that chase? How much room can he make up with nobody committed to the full lead out?
We're now coming into one lap to go. Malcolm McCollum on the bell as we see one lap to go here for our final men's race here, lap of the night. One lap to go, one to go. Who's going to be your winner here at the FC Tulsa Arts District Criterium? Danny Summerhill could get himself up near the front, but Team Cadence is on the front. They've got Fetzer protected at the front right now with Holek leading this thing out. But will it be Bourgogne jumping to a winner? Will it be Jordan Parra who gets himself a win here tonight? Or will Dario Raps go 2 for 2 here at St. Francis Tulsa Tough?
Is that Bourgogne fifth wheel on the inside, rubbing shoulders with DCC? It's hard to tell. Oh, he's getting jammed up. Or was that Fetzer? Very hard to tell exactly what that was, but very argy-bargy there going into the finale. Brody McDonald fighting with the rider there.
Team Cadence, though, is absolutely lighting this thing up as we now come up to the top of Sound Pony Hill. We're now alongside the Arts Museum at the top. We're single file with Team Cadence doing a ton of that work, and Fetzer is second wheel.
Brody McDonald,
are they
DCC,
riding for Fetzer right now?
Summerhill.
It seems that way, but here comes DCC on the left-hand side, and Summerhill is trying to get himself in there. Brody McDonald also fighting for that position as we're going to be coming downhill right now.
What a save by
Alec Briggs as we come out. Here's the final left-hand turn. Summerhill is second wheel. Can Summerhill win here again? He's a little jammed up. Here's a big turn out of the final turn by our DCC rider as we're coming to the final kick to the line. We're trying to get an ID on this DC rider as we come to the line, and it's going to be Dario Raps going 2 for 2 here at St. Francis Tulsa Tough.
What bananas finish. I mean, so much movement between individual riders fighting for position. DCC had the team, total number of riders to put Dario Raps in that position, but all the individuals absolutely fighting. Alec Briggs had an absolute beautiful run until the door closed. What an incredible save. There's nobody else in this peloton that would have kept that up, no doubt in my mind. Just absolutely incredible save by Alec Briggs in the finale there. Holy moly.
Wow, that was a fantastic sprint, and Raps did it again. He carried that speed that we saw him do last night in Nelly's Blue Dome, right, where he pushed that back. Here's your quick trip, roll it back. This is from the finish line perspective. Now you see Raps leading out of the finish line. Summerhill trying to get there, trying to get into that draft, but Raps furious on that gear, stomping that pedals, and he gets himself to the finish line for a second victory here at St. Francis Tulsa Tough.
Amazing, can't believe it. Here's the drone shot. Alec Briggs on the right side, moving up, and that's the Bikers guy getting Dushan Kalaba moving to the right. Bikers, just absolutely. I mean, Alec Briggs is just, threading the needle, finding the razor line of where to move. I mean, Alec was actually just trying to do as little, not touch the brakes as little as possible, because I think he was going to try to shoot a different gap, but just got enough overlap there to catch him out. What an absolute save. Dario Raps, incredibly fast, but, he wins this by carrying so much more momentum than Summerhill and Brody McDonald there in the finish.
And I think Brody ends up second here. I think he gets Danny right at the line with the bike throw.
Yeah.
And so Summerhill, I think, unofficially holding on to third. Raps, your winner, though, in that Tulsa Tough Leaders jersey. He is a German national champion, and he gets himself a second win for the. So, of course, he's now leading the Omnium coming into Crybaby Hill, the McElroy Riverfront Park. You think he's going to go for 3?
Oh, man, we'll see. I mean, you know, these DCC guys, again, I think they're on the larger side for Crybaby Hill. You know, I don't know if Raps has raced that race. I think a couple of his teammates have, so they're going to have some insight on what it's going to take. We're going to have to see. That was a big shakeup in the just sprint in the GC, you know, the overall standing. So he's likely to have a little room to play, but they're going to have to ride a really controlled race. He's obviously on amazing form, super, super rapid, you know, and all that. So it's going to be a good showdown. The other teams are going to have to be super aggressive to either get their own stage win, obviously, because nobody else has won except for DCC, or find some space and disrupt the GC.
All right, so I think we got perhaps a photo. Nice to see Corey Williams and Dario Raps able to talk to each other. Love the Swedish fish and bananas getting ready to be tossed out there. These guys getting
it's the minis though. It's the mini Swedish fish.
Nice. They couldn't find the Haribos out here. We're gonna look for a photo finish here though, if we can get it. So photo finish shots coming right up, so we can see how that played out. So let's roll that back from Quick Trip. And here's Raps, but the second to the line here, if we can see it, looks like McDonald. Yeah, so I don't know.
It's blurry.
It's very blurry, so it's hard to say. I mean, I think that Lynx camera may actually keep Summerhill on the second step of the podium.
They're going to play that. Yeah, have to play that back.
Yeah,
it's impressive ride from Garrison to come back into this.
Yeah, but we're going to roll that back real quick one more time. Raps is already celebrating, and Brody throws the bike, and as Summerhill has already sort of relinquished the win.
We need CSI to come in here and do the enhance,
I know,
and we'll find out what tires they're riding and all that. So we'll let our production team get on that.
I'm sure Tony's got it.
Yeah, wild race. It's really unfortunate to see that massive crash. It really disrupted it, but super impressive by the riders. They were in that to have the forethought, the head on the shoulders to help the race overall clear all of that. At least let the officials and anybody there assess the damage, see if they really truly needed, if somebody needed medical help, and give them that space to do that evaluation, or again just help clean it up so we can get the riders off the course and continue the race, which was amazing.
And hats off to Justin Williams for stepping up and clearing course himself, moving fence, getting riders out, being very proactive about making sure that race could continue, because as we were saying during broadcast that if this race stops with 6 to go, completely different race. And even though Danny didn't get the win, I think that it would have not played into Danny's favor in any way, shape, or form if we'd had a full reset.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's 20 years of experience, cool head, really, helping the race. No personal agenda there other than just seeing the race continue on in that situation.
There's a lot of things that go into bike racing, and experience not only helps you win races, it also helps you to contribute into the overall well-being of the race itself. So thank you to everybody who helped out. We hope everybody will be okay, and we hopefully see everybody on the start line tomorrow for our McElroy Riverfront Park Criterium, better known as Crybaby Hill. We're going to get some words with Dario Raps hopefully at the finish line with Brad Sonar. And then, of course, don't go anywhere, because we got podiums that will be broadcast as well. We've got great celebrations. We've got individual podiums for today's races, as well as the St. Francis Tulsa Tough overall podiums that we will be awarding. And we'll get you at least the leader of the Omnium going into day 3 of the 3-day Omnium standings for the St. Francis Tulsa Tough. Thank you guys for tuning in and helping us out with the YouTube comments. It certainly help inform us. Thank you to our friends who have been helping us with some messages and whatnot to make sure that we're helping to keep you guys up to date and answer any of the questions that you might have had out there today. We certainly appreciate all of that, all of you tuning in. And please remember to share the YouTube feed with all of your friends so that more people see all the amazing things that happen here in Tulsa, Oklahoma for the Super Bowl of Criterium Racing here at the St. Francis Tulsa Tough. And so we're going to have a guest here in the Zico broadcast booth real quick to...
Ladies and gentlemen!
Oh, but here, before we get into that, we have Dario Raps on the finish line. We want to get a few words from your champion, two-time champion here tonight.
Unbelievable ride, 2 in a row for DCC. I know you felt the confidence out there tonight. Did this one feel any different than night 1 for you?
Yeah, that was just so... I didn't expect it to win today, honestly, because I didn't feel that good, but I was so surprised how strong Jonas Schmeisser was. So my teammate, he made a lead out. I never experienced that in my life. And thanks to him, I won today, really. I just thank you, and thank you to the crowd. You're awesome how you cheers. The best spectators in the world.
There's no question about it. You guys have raced your bike all over the globe. Tell me about what makes American racing special. What do we do here that they don't do anywhere else in the world?
I think it's the level, the niveau, the riders, they are so strong. You never experienced that somewhere else, and that makes the race so fast, and it's also very aggressive. Position is just key. You have to stay on your position, otherwise you don't have any chance.
We're known for high-level racing, but Tulsa Tough is also known for a good party as well. Have you had a chance to experience that this weekend yet?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not important how we do it tomorrow. We will party so hard because we have 2 wins, and we are so proud of that.
You can party with these guys on Cry Baby Hill tomorrow. Let's hear it for
Absolutely amazing ride.
Yeah, amazing, fantastic ride, and great to hear his enthusiasm for this. The emotion that Dario Raps exudes is just so amazing. I love it. You can feel how excited he is through those interviews with Brad on the finish line. Love to hear it. Well, we are here in the booth. We've got a guest. It's Aaron Beebe. Welcome to the Zico broadcast booth, Aaron. Racing for First Internet Bank now, I believe, and you had a little bit of time off the front of the race here tonight. Talk to us a little bit about what the dynamic was for you.
Yeah, the dynamic was, it was kind of weird at first. For a second, I thought of actually attacking the brake because one of the DCC fellows was just kind of sitting on, and it felt like there wasn't going to be any cooperation. And then when the second one bridged up, then it actually gelled pretty good, but I don't think anyone was fully committed to it. So I had this weird kind of place where I thought, this is like the best scenario for our team here because we didn't think we'd have a great luck in the finish. So you're tempted to really just go all in and commit to driving it, but then you kind of shoot yourself in the foot either way with that.
What do you think the field dynamic was such that they didn't want that break to go? What do you feel like the reason was?
I mean, well, for DCC, I mean, obviously Dario wins anyway, so for them it doesn't matter if it comes back. And I think the other teams might have, felt kind of the same.